Welcome back, everyone, to the W Sports Podcast. Jimothy Tubby, we are back to break down all that is the NFL week number 5, as it is in the books right now. Tubby, great weekend of football. There are a couple really great games. Some I hope you didn't watch. I hope nobody watched some of those games. But Tubby, welcome back to the show, man.
This was one of the best weekends for all football. Period.
Yeah, it turned out to be
that
pretty
we've
good.
had in quite a while. I mean, you had 3 or 4 walk-off field goals in the
Mhm.
NFL, a couple nail biters, some come from behind wins. Then we talked yesterday about college football.
Mhm.
There's been some great football this weekend.
Yeah, and there's still technically 2 more games left. The Dallas Cowboys, the Kansas City Chiefs, those games. So as we record this, we're not exactly sure what's going to happen, but what we hope is that Dallas loses, Kansas City wins. That's what everybody hopes, I think.
Yep.
Everybody.
Yep. Everyone. The whole
Everyone.
world.
Yeah, I'm going to be torn. As people are watching this, I'm going to be torn between do I watch the Chiefs or do I watch the Royals here? But, we're going to figure it out. It's going to be fine.
What do you mean? It's Dodgers podcast.
That's true. I'm all decked out in Kansas City Royals gear right now, and then Tubby, of course, is repping is the Los Angeles Dodgers. So it's going to be hopefully tonight they can get that second win, trying to face the Phillies most likely is what I would say as we get closer to the NLCS. But anyway, that's a conversation for later in this week's episode. I believe that'll be Thursday or Friday's episode. I'm getting all my days mixed together. But if you guys haven't already, make sure that you go ahead and hit subscribe to the YouTube channel or downloading wherever it is that you download podcasts. That would go a long way to support the show. And here's the kicker. If you subscribe to the show, that qualifies you to be a part of the show's giveaway that is this month in October. And I'm not going to tell you what it is this week, but I'm going to tell you what category it is this week. It's a jersey. And so there you go. I'm just saying, if you like jerseys, I'm wearing one right now. I need you to make sure you subscribe to the show so you can be a part of the giveaway.
It's sitting right there.
So it's practically on the screen right now.
That's all I'm saying. It's right there.
Yeah. So we will do that. Make sure that you make it so it's visible, or you can message us that you're subscribed with proof, because sometimes those things are private. And so we just want to make sure that every single person is qualified here. But and we want to say thanks for the people who did subscribe last week. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. And hope you all win. That's what I'm saying. I hope you all win. All right, so let's go ahead and let's move on. We're going to start with probably one of the best games of the NFL so far this year. We had the Baltimore Ravens at Cincinnati Bengals. This is a division game. I mean, these guys were trading punches left and right, back and forth. Even went into overtime, ultimately, for Baltimore to prevail and send Cincinnati home with a loss, who are now 0-3 at home and 1-4 on the road. And Baltimore has chipped away to get back to 3-2. Break down this game for us, Debbie.
It really looked like it was going to be the Bengals game. They up double digits most of the second half, and then you had just the bad play from Joe Burrow, the interception that really kind of reopened the game and went into overtime. And you think, Lamar fumbles, Bengals going to pick it up, kick field goal, win the game. Botch snap on the field goal, miss it, then Derrick Henry said, I'll run 55 yards down the sideline real quick.
Yep. Sets it up. And I think that's one of that. I mean, you talk about, was it 50, you said 55 yards? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I mean, before that, does anybody know how many rushing yards this guy had, even ballpark?
37.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot. And this is the reason why you got to keep giving the ball, because I bet after 5 quarters of playing, people are gassed. And you're like, man, we just got to tackle one more time. And it's just so hard. The dude is probably one of the best running backs that we've seen in the game, especially this side of 2000. And there's been quite a few. He's one of the. I'm not going to say the best. Maybe that's a debate for the offseason, but that's why you got to keep giving him the ball ultimately so they get a win on a 24-yard field goal. But Justin Tucker just proven he's still the best kicker in the game.
Yeah, I mean, even with the woes he's had this year, he's missed some more field goals than typical Justin Tucker. But I just kind of piggyback off the Derrick Henry thing. I don't know exactly how many carries he had in the second half, but before he ran that ball, in the first possession of overtime, he had the same amount of rushing yards as he did in the first at halftime.
Well,
which is ridiculous.
You got to get in the ball more.
Yeah.
I get that it's a high-scoring game. Maybe try to slow it down a little bit. I don't know. Is this a bigger deal winning for the Ravens and showing that they are one of the best teams in the AFC, or is this now looking at a Bengals team that's lost to the Chiefs, lost to the Ravens, lost to the Commanders, somehow lost to the Patriots, and now they got to go against the Giants and the Browns and the Eagles over the next 3 weeks.
I think this is more telling for the Bengals just because their defense is non-existent right now. Their defense can't stop anyone. I mean, like you said, you couldn't even stop the Patriots enough to beat them week 1. And then Jaden Daniels has his coming out party against you where he just went absolutely berserkers on you. And then we saw, Lamar Jackson, even with some of the mistakes Lamar Jackson made today, you weren't able to capitalize on it and win the game. The defense just cannot hold it together. I mean, you should have won that game when Joe Burrow throws 5 touchdowns.
Dude, yeah. And Jamar Chase looked like vintage.
Yeah, Jamar Chase absolutely killed me in fantasy football. But, yeah, this should have been a Bengals win, but your defense is so bad right now that you had no chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's 100% accurate. And that's so we're going to have to see what they are. And here's the season's long. This is week number 5 of 17 games. The reality is they could turn this thing around and be fine, maybe be a playoff team, but they need to do it now. And there's enough things that are warning signs that they're going to have to make some changes at some point. Let's talk about some of the other games. The Bears, Panthers. I know no one was expecting to talk about that off the top, but Caleb Williams, he's starting to put the things together the last couple of weeks. So I want to bring in him, and then you talked about Jaden Daniels just a second ago. He has another pretty good game overall. I know he threw the pick, but against a stingy Cleveland Browns team, he now finds the Commanders at 4-1. The Bears are now 3-2, 3-0 at home with Caleb Williams. And then I want to throw this one out there too. I think it's hilarious that I'm doing this. Bo Nix beats the Raiders, and Bo Nix goes 19-27, 7 yards per attempt with 2 touchdowns, no picks. How's this class looking right now? Well, this is hindsight. I mean, it's very close to the 1 week sample size is too small, but what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean they're living up to the billing. Honestly, right now, I mean, we haven't seen 3 of the other 3 first round picks because JJ McCarthy's out with for the season. They're setting Drake May like they should. And Michael Penix is behind Kirk Cousins, and we didn't expect him to play this year anyway. So, but those 3 guys, I mean, outside of like the first couple games and then last week for Bo Nix has played pretty solid for the last few weeks. Caleb Williams, we talked about it. This was my fantasy sleeper when it came to quarterbacks this week. 13, they had him projected 13 points, and I really felt like this was the game that we were going to see him show out, and he looked like Caleb Williams, what we expected. But the magician in the pocket, scrambling around, getting out of things, keeping his eyes upfield, making the throws, and just taking what the defense gave him. He wasn't trying hard like he had been, previous, the first 3 weeks of the season. These last 3 weeks have seen him kind of comprehend the offense a little bit better. But man, he really looked good. And it is against the Panthers. The Panthers aren't good.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, all that said, it's against Panthers.
But he has played against some other bad teams like the Titans. Week 1, he was terrible against the Titans. Didn't even have 100 yards. So you got to take it where you can get it and take that momentum going forward, especially with a young player, because it seemed like him and DJ Moore finally found that, that thing and started clicking, and they're starting to trust each other in the offense.
He now has 2 career games with multiple touchdowns, and he has 2 games now over 300 yards and 3 wins. So, I mean, the Bears fans are like, well, this is about what we had last year at 7-9, so we'll see if it still works out. But so we had him. Did you mention anything about Bo Nix? I mean, this is
I mean, he's playing better. I mean, outside of last week, which no one played good in the Broncos game last week, so except for maybe the kickers, but and the punters. But he played really good, and he's played good against 2 out of the last 3 weeks. Beat the Buccaneers, and then he plays really good this week. Maybe he's starting to show a little bit of something. I love the fieriness he had on the sideline, and with some of the play calling and him getting up to Sean Payton like, hey man, this is what's working. Why are we deviating from it? Let's go back to it. As a rookie, tell him, you have a voice. Go out there, Yeah,
you got the C on your chest more than likely. Almost every single one of these quarterbacks do, so you might as well live up to it. So, Broncos are 3-2. They beat the Raiders. The Raiders look like this team is get a long way. I mean, they're definitely don't have a quarterback on that roster that you want, but you look at that team. It was a good win. That's all I'm saying. I just want to give some credit to Bo Nix.
Yeah.
We have not given a lot of credit to this guy this year.
No. I mean, he had a couple of rough games, but he's had two really good, or not really good. He had two really solid games.
I think that's a good word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another really, and this was a good game. Texans, Bills, two AFC teams that are built to be there in the deep playoff runs. The Bills fall, though, and it was at home for the Texans, and they do get it with the walk-off field goal that you mentioned on the top there.
Yeah.
But any big takeaways from this game other than this looked like a couple playoff teams probably matching up?
The time management by the Bills at the end of the game. You're standing in your end zone. There's 40 seconds left, 30 seconds left, something like that, and you throw 3 straight plays. You're, like you said, you're literally standing in your own end zone. You ain't going to go down and score. You didn't make the Texans spend a single timeout, and they turn around, get the ball back. You should have just killed the clock, made them call their timeouts at least, then punted the football and hope that they weren't able to get in field goal range, because they barely got in field goal range. They throw one pass and they fall with 3 seconds left in Fairbairn's territory. The time management should be questioned. Why they threw 3 straight plays and out of the back of the end zone. One of them should have been intercepted.
Yeah. Well, do you know what Josh Allen's completions for attempts was this game? Did you see it? I'm going to say it, and it's going to shock you. 9 for 30.
Wow.
I don't know that I've ever seen a professional quarterback at the level that he is, the top 10 quarterback, have that bad of a game. And what's funny is they still could have had a shot to win this game. I do think that it was a lot with the Texans, the defensive scheme that they had for this game, and just keep them out of rhythm, right? Like that's a big part of it. But C.J. Stroud came to play. He had the pick, which was a really bad pick. But he still looks good, and they're 3-0 at home. I mean, the Texans are proven to be a solid team in the AFC, especially in a very winnable division.
Yeah, and once they get Joe Mixon back, that offense will look even better. I mean, we saw the first couple of weeks with that offense when Joe Mixon was healthy. It gave the offense a whole different dynamic than it does right now without him on the field.
Yeah. We'll run through a couple quick games. We had to talk about them just so we at least mentioned them. Giants beat the Seahawks 29-20. Wow. There you go, Danny Dimes. Let's go. Tracy did have over almost 130 yards rushing, so we'll give him that.
Yeah.
Malik Neighbors not playing absolutely crushed me in one of my leagues. Oh my gosh! Hopefully it's not too much longer. I know it was. You talked about it on Thursday's episode too.
Yeah.
So that worked out. Vikings 5-0 go to London. They dominate Aaron Rodgers and the Jets.
That was an ugly game.
Yeah, well, it's a London game. It's never going to be a good game.
No. I'm just going to mention something real quick.
Yeah.
When are we going to get past this fact that people think that Aaron Rodgers is still top 10, top 15 quarterback? He's not.
He's not playing like it.
No. And I got a lot of hate, back his last year in Green Bay. Whenever I was calling for him to be benched and for them to start Jordan Love, because Aaron Rodgers did not look like Aaron Rodgers. He cannot make the same throws that he used to be able to, and it's just gotten worse. Yeah, it's expected. And this is the Aaron Rodgers that you can expect going forward. They talk like, oh, we just need a quarterback. We just need Aaron Rodgers to play. Well, that's not the case. Your offense is still bad. You gave Breece Hall the ball 9 times.
That, again, it drives me insane when I see that. Like, what are you doing? That's why you're going to lose. Oh, that's why you're going to lose.
Yep.
I mean, it's not like this thing was a blowout. Like, it just drives me insane.
I mean,
this is,
This game is solely on Aaron Rodgers and Nathaniel Hackett, the way the game went.
Hackett just hacking it,
Yeah, absolutely.
The last game, real quick, 49ers. How worried are you about the 49ers? 2-3. This was a Super Bowl team. There's people were looking past the Chiefs and saying, 49ers, this is their year. This is their year. They're bringing back Ayuk. 2-3, just lost at home to the Cardinals. I get it. They don't have CMC. We don't know when they're going to have CMC.
Yeah. I mean, the Achilles tendonitis has now migrated to both tendonitis, to both Achilles.
Yeah.
So that's definitely not a great sign. But honestly, I don't know really where to go with this right now, because Ayuk's healthy, Debo's playing, Kittle's playing. What's the problem? Because Jordan Mason's playing good. It's not like Jordan Mason's not doing, giving you production. Jordan Mason's giving you good production. Is it the defensive side of the football that's, the missing link or something, which is supposed to be one of their strengths?
Well, they got blanked in the second half on offense.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is it Brock Purdy? Were you actually right about Brock Purdy?
I still would like to hold out and say yes, I was, or we were, but we'll see. His QBR is still great this year. But.
Yeah, like I said, I honestly have no idea what's going on with this team.
Yeah. My biggest feedback for so many of these coaches: stop trying to get too fancy and probably just run the ball.
Yeah,
like run the ball more. And I will say the 49ers typically do this well, and they actually have a fullback on their roster that they use well. But I mean, come on, guys. You get blanked in the second half. You can't get any rhythm. You can't get it's just so frustrating. And I think that's the problem right now. And we talked about it ad nauseum. Run the ball.
Oh, yeah. Just run the ball. I mean, I think the best example is last year. We talked about this at the end of the season. The 4 teams that were in the 4 final teams in the playoffs last year all featured the running game the most, especially. I mean, that was the turnaround for the Chiefs, was them going, okay, the offense has to go through Pacheco. And then you had the Ravens, the number 1 team rushing offense in the NFL. The 49ers, the number 2 rushing offense in the NFL. The Detroit Lions, the number 3 rushing offense in the NFL. And then once the Chiefs started giving Pacheco the ball, they were a top 5 rushing team in the NFL. Run the football.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, can't say it much better than that. That's why you just got to listen to the W Sports Podcast. This is what we're telling you. We're trying to help you guys. We're trying to help even bad teams be better. Come on.
Yeah, we need to get some GMs, some head coaches in here to listen to us.
Yeah, maybe we can get them on the show and say, hey, tell me about why you don't run the ball. Well, because we feel like the statistics, the advanced analytics. No, stop it. Sometimes football is as simple as run the ball.
Yeah, analytics have messed up sports. Have you not noticed this, folks?
Yeah, it's frustrating. But anyway, guys, that is another good, solid weekend of football in the NFL, and we're going to be back at it again next week. If you haven't already, make sure you hit subscribe. And if you're listening to the show and you haven't hit subscribe and you're wondering, should I? The answer is yes. So please go ahead and do that. Make sure you share it with someone who's looking for a good podcast that has a couple episodes a week that they're not too long. We've shifted to W Sports Podcast just for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Until then, see y'all next time.
See ya.
See ya.